As I mentioned previously, creatine phosphate is breaking down, releasing its energy and what we call as a inorganic phosphate, which is then used to rephosphorylate ADP to ATP. Okay, so this is a very rapid one-step chemical reaction. This is the characteristic of the creatine phosphate energy system, where it is catalyzed by the enzyme creatine kinase. Next, creatine phosphate is an important high energy phosphate that is stored in muscle, where it is readily available to replenish the ATP very rapidly. Because this energy system can be used for rapid replenishment of ATP. It is the energy system that is predominantly used during very high intensity, short duration exercise when ATP is being used very rapidly. As seen in this figure, as the sprinter ran as fast as they could for 40, 60, 80 and 100 meters, the concentration of ATP dropped approximately 20% in the first 40 meters and then essentially reached a plateau. Okay, then reach a plateau. Although there was some modest variation in the ATP concentration over the last 60 meters, the overall concentration did not go down further than the initial 20 to 25% decline. The level of creatine phosphate, however, declined substantially throughout the high-intensity exercise, particularly within the first 5 seconds. Right, that is approximately 40 meters here. Okay, then very low level of creatine phosphate in the muscles are associated with muscle fatigue. At very high intensity of exercise, it takes approximately 5 to 10 seconds for creatine phosphate in muscle to be depleted and fatigue to occur. So it is said that the duration of the creatine phosphate energy system is approximately 5 to 10 seconds. As I mentioned previously, this type of energy system, the creatine phosphate energy system, it doesn't require oxygen, or we call this system as an anaerobic energy system, when the creatine phosphate is used to replenish ATP from ADP. However, it requires oxygen to restore creatine to creatine phosphate, or what we call as during the phosphorylation process, where the oxygen is needed to produce ATP in mitochondria. This process is known as the creatine shuttle, where it takes about 1 to 2 minutes if exercise intense and long enough, where body will use the aerobic energy system to restore the creatinine, which is why athletes breathe hard for a time after short duration high intensity events. So this process, if you can see here, okay, the creatine phosphate, the process of what we call as rephosphorylation, where the rephosphorylation of creatinine to creatine phosphate via aerobic metabolism, okay, where it needs the oxygen. the creatine, okay, the creatine that remains from chemically splitting creatine phosphate, okay, when from creatine phosphate to creatine, okay, and then this is what we call as a phosphorylated using energy from ATP produced aerobically in the mitochondria here of the muscles. So the process requires an increase in aerobic metabolism, or what we call as oxidative phosphorylation, and returns creatine phosphate concentration. Okay, return the creatine phosphate concentration to normal within a minute or two. Again, I will again explain to you this phosphorylation of creatine to creatine phosphate, okay, via aerobic metabolism. So creatine here remains from chemically splitting creatine phosphate is rephosphorylated using energy from ATP that produced aerobically, okay, in the mitochondria of the muscle. So the process requires an increase in aerobic metabolism, or what we call as a oxidative phosphorylation, and returns the creatine phosphate concentration to normal within 1 or 2 minutes. So how long does it take for creatine to be rephosphorylated to creatine phosphate? Well, it depends actually, but sometimes it can, as I mentioned just now, it takes 1 to 2 minutes if the exercise has been intense and long enough to substantially deplete creatine phosphate in the muscle. Ever wonder why athletes breathe hard? Just now as I said, because they want to use the aerobic energy system to restore their creatine phosphate. So it must be temporarily increase oxygen intake and aerobic metabolism to meet the increased aerobic task of restoring creatine to creatine phosphate. So this is another example of the integration of the body's energy system. The major advantage of the creatine phosphate energy system is that it is a very rapid way to replace the ATP. However, it has a significant disadvantages. In that creatine phosphate is stored in very limited amounts in the muscles and can be depleted rapidly and has a very short duration as an energy system. Fortunately, the body has additional energy system to replace ATP under different circumstances. So, if I want to ask you, is the creatine phosphate system completely anaerobic? The answer is no. When we want to get the creatine phosphate again, or what we call as the rephosphorylation of creatine to creatine phosphate, then it must be through the aerobic metabolism. Okay, which is oxygen is required to recover creatine phosphate from creatine. Okay, so this is I mentioned just now, the advantage of the creatine phosphate is very rapid way to replace ATP. However, it's very limited amount in the muscles and can be depleted and has very short duration. Usually, athletes competing in events that rely heavily upon the creatine phosphate energy systems, they must may supplement with creatine to improve the performance. So the creatine phosphate concentration in the muscles can be increased up to more than 20% with the supplementation. And however, some people are non-responders to supplementation if creatine phosphate concentrations are already near maximum. For example, a vegetarian may respond better. The vegetarian, the concentration of the creatine phosphate increased 76% versus the non-vegetarians, which is only 36%. Again, when we talk about the creatine supplementation, okay, athletes that compete in event that really rely heavily upon the creatine phosphate energy systems may supplement with creatine to improve the performance. So as mentioned just now, no direct effect on performance has been shown with the intake of creatine supplement except for power lifter or for the weight lifters. Study have found that there is also indirect effect by allowing athlete to train harder, which it can improve in terms of strength, speed or power. And this creatine supplement also has shown that increase the intracellular water in muscle cells where the weight gain may not be desirable for some athletes. So it is not suitable for certain athletes and may also sometimes this creatine supplement found as safe with some minor side effects to the certain athletes, such as it can also cause a GI abscess or cramps. And however, these creatinine supplementations is highly used or effective for the strength and power athletes. So for those athletes who want to take the creatinine supplementations, there is some recommendation where the dosage, the user dosage that they can take from the creatinine supplementation is about 3 to 5 grams per day, or the loading dose is about 20 to 25 grams per day in 4 to 5 doses every 5 to 7 times a day. And also it has been cautious that this creatine supplementation is not recommended to those who have a kidney dysfunction or diseases, and it can only be effective if it's taken during a vigorous training. Another study suggests that this creatine supplementation must be consumed with carbohydrate to enhance the uptake, and also not just creatine supplementation. Any supplementations that you have take, you need to drink enough water and stay well hydrated. And also there is a documentation noted that there is any adverse effects and read the used if you can found from the intake of this creatinine supplementation. So again, this creatine supplementations is only effective for the heavy or what we call as a weightlifting weightlifter or power lifter, and it's effective for strength and power athletes. And again, do not use the when you have found any kidney dysfunction, and consume with carbohydrate to enhance the uptake. So this is about our first energy system, which is creatine phosphate energy system.